Now I need to add some D-rings in front of and behind the axle inside, but I'm going to be welding hopefully some supports underneath, because they will be strapped down pretty tight when I'm hauling a heavy item in the trailer. Here's the catch. The welder is not over here. The welder is over there in the garage. So I need to move the trailer over there. Here's another catch. The trailer is really big. I have had the 24-foot cargo trailer across the front of the garage before. Not a huge deal. This is a 28-foot. Here's another problem. I don't have a nice yard. I know how to do nice yards. I sent myself to college mowing lawns. I know how to do all that, and frankly, I've had enough of that work. I like my old riding lawn mower, and that's about the extent of it. Here's what that means. These sandy patches pose a problem. I have gotten stuck in my own front yard. Go ahead and laugh, I don't care. This is the trickiest area. Now what's going for me is today we've had a lot of rain. So like, think about being at the beach and how the sand is really soft where it's dry, but you get up to where the waves can actually reach and the sand is hard. That's what my yard is like right now. So now is a good moment for me to move the trailer and not have as much risk of getting stuck. Here's the third catch. We're gonna want conditions like this when we move the trailer again. I'll need to back it around that corner, and anytime that the truck is turned relative to the trailer, things get a little bit sketchy. So we'll see how this plays out. There's a lot of rain in the forecast, which will simultaneously help and make things more difficult. We just need to do this. So we're gonna move the trailer over and hope for the best. That's about as good as I think I'm gonna get. A little bit close to the house here. See, this is what I'm worried about. So when I pull out, it needs to go well. We need to put 4 of these about midship on the trailer. I was thinking we'd use this. Like, here's the deal. They go on the floor. We're gonna cut a pretty big hole here, but miss where the mounting holes are. And this sits down into that recess in the plywood floor. And then these bolt holes, I mean, you could just mount it to the plywood floor, but I don't really trust how well it's anchored to not pull up under some pretty serious ratcheting tie down action. So we're going to put some supports underneath the floor. I was thinking this angle iron would really be great. It would go between slats in the floor. Plenty of room for the mounting holes. There's the plywood floor would be here. So yeah, looks pretty cool, except this stuff is 4 times thicker than what it would be welded to, so that's a little silly, and I don't have enough of it anyway. So okay, back to the drawing board. This is the thickness of the stuff I'm welding to, so that's cool. I could use 2 of them like this, and that would work, except that I don't have enough of this to do that. I need 4 mounts and each one of them is going to be 16 inches long. I actually have 5 of these sticks, but they're only 28 inches long, so you do the math, we're out of luck. So what I think I'm going to do is make kind of a T arrangement. Imagine this is not angle, imagine this is flat, just this piece here. And weld some flat steel along here in 16-inch sections, but that'll allow me to do something like this-ish. So really I just need 4 16-inch sections of this, which I do have, and 4 16-inch flat pieces to weld onto the side of it here, maybe about 3 inches wide. This is 2 and this is another 2.5. So yeah, we could come out 3 inches wide or so. That'll do the trick. Not the prettiest thing, but this is all under the trailer, and I got to get this done like right now with stuff that I have on hand. I don't have time to go run out and try and find the perfect steel today. I prefer to do that, but I just don't have time. So let's zap some of this stuff together, see how much we can get done on this, so we can move on to the next thing. Okay, here's the plan. This is the frame rail here. It's in about 1 foot or so from the wall of the trailer. So our hole will be right about here. And the D-ring will of course sit on the top of this plywood. This will allow me to weld it here and here and a little bit up here and here and some right here even on this flange. So we'll have plenty of little zips of the welder to hold things in place. My sequence is first to protect this wire. I've already pulled the grommets out. I'm going to tape all of this up because I do not want to damage that wire. I need a wire brush wherever I'm going to weld, which shouldn't be too hard because I don't think this paint is all that great. Then we'll put the bracket in place, drill the 4 mounting holes, pull the bracket down a little bit, go up top, mark and cut the big hole that serves as a recess for the D-ring. Then we can go ahead and bolt everything up, weld everything, and then I'll hit it with a spot of paint. Small problem here. I can't put it in this way and push up because the wire's in the way. That's all right. We'll just come over here. I feel raindrops. That's cool. Using this trailer to avoid weather has really been the perfect idea. From the very beginning, it's worked out great. And I'm going to do 1 hole and then go up into the trailer and make sure it's where I think it's going to be. Yeah. Yeah. That is perfect. So the D-ring will be right here. So that gives us clearance around the wheel well. I like it. We may be about to get rained out here. Yep. I think I have just enough information to make the other 3 with some confidence that I'm not gonna have to like redo a bunch of stuff. So let's focus on that. Maybe it dries off by the time we get done. And then we'll install all 4 of them. We have a break in the rain, which is good because we've run out of stuff to do inside. We have all 3 of our plates made. Now we just need to weld them in place. So we'll see what we can get done here before it rains again. Where we left off earlier was the point of drilling the big hole for the recess. Let's go ahead and do that now. It'll be nice to know that I'm doing the right thing, because this is going to be a big hole in the floor. Okay, that's what I wanted to see. Now we'll go underneath and get the plate in place, and we'll fasten everything down before we weld. Really be nice to get this done. Rain or shine, there's always something to do, so while we wait for it to dry out a little bit, I'm gonna make kind of a quad box thing. Scrounged up some parts. I have this safety outlet, which I don't need a safety outlet, but I have the outlet, and this little light switch outlet combo dealy-do. So what we'll do is power the lights in the trailer with this, and we can wire the output of that switch to the outlets, and so this will be a light switch for all of the lights, and that'll be nice. Plus we'll have some additional outlets. I can wire this downstream with a switch. That kind of makes sense, so I'll do that. We'll put it in that quad box with this raised metal cover, and I have an old extension cord that was messed up, but that part of it is okay, so we'll use this to be the power cord for our little quad box thingy. All right, let's whip this thing up and move on to something else. I think what we're gonna do is put our hot here and our neutral there. I think this is the hot output of the switch, which is jumpered via this clip down to the hot of this receptacle. That way, if you wanted to do basically what I'm doing, or you wanted the switch to power up that receptacle, that would happen for you. I will also jumper off of this to the hot of this outlet, and I need to pigtail this neutral, the incoming neutral, and the neutral over here. We'll also ground the box. The switch is off. What I'm looking for is continuity. Yeah, when I turn it on. Okay, and of course we'd expect continuity. Oh, come on. Down here. Yep, all right, so we're good. Okay, we're going to test our ground first. Cool, and to the ground of my workbench. Good. I go to AC volts. I should get nothing because the light switch is off. 0.6 volts, so that's essentially off. And 124. Good. Over here. And we got the safety thing going on, so we'll have to trust it. Get it? Safety. Okay, we have light again. That's gonna work. All right, let's get it welded in and see how much we can get done on the other 3. This is a little different than what we're used to, but It's why we have wheels on things and long cords. We can go anywhere there's concrete, which isn't saying much, but I think this is going to work. I can scoot the cart right up to the trailer, and I think the lead will reach to the other side when we do that one. We're just going to move forward as if that's true. But for now, let's see if we can get under there and weld this thing out of position without having hot metal dropping on us. Good morning. I am very, very happy to say that we got those D-rings installed, got them painted up. We can move on. We're still here, but we need to move things. We need to get the trailer backed up to the concrete pad. So I want to get the rear of the trailer square with this edge of the concrete, which is going to put the front of the trailer way up here close to this tree. So if this is even gonna fit, I think the side of the truck will be up here. This sand here, for whatever reason, stays relatively solid. That's the sand, that's the problem. That gets really soft. But here, it seems to stay pretty solid. So once the trailer is loaded, I should have a decent chance of being able to pull out without getting stuck, which would be an absolute disaster. Need to unload a new toy out of the truck too. Okay, I'm gonna go with this. I'm a little bit further back than I thought I would need to be, but there's plenty of room at the end of the ramp, and I can still do some things over on this side. So, all right, for the next week, this is where the trailer's gonna live. We're gonna detach here. We gotta do some work up here anyway, and we need to get our new toy out of the truck. Like, I really didn't need this. I actually bought this to get this. That's a cap grinder. Not the nicest one, but it's nicer than nothing. Pretty neat little device, really. So we're gonna get this out of the truck next, so it's not in the rain. I sloshed this stuff all the way between Daytona and here. It's got a little on the truck. All right, let's get unhitched. I would love to take some time to play around with this thing and clean it up a bit, but we have to stay on the trailer. We got to get this thing done. We're on a mission here, folks. But just for the record, this is what I'm really excited about, is the cap grinder. You grind a little bit off of the cap or the rod, the end of the rod. Now it's no longer a circle, and that's what the hone is good for. You get the appropriate size mandrel in here, and it's actually a special mandrel that does it to keep from making the hole any bigger. It grinds off the egg shape of the hole so that it's round again. Really what we needed was the cap grinder. Now we have one. A few days have gone by, but we're back at it. We're in the time crunch now. We have just a few days before we have to drive north. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to it. A lot of work between now and then, but it's gonna be a little cooler, it's gonna be less humid, and I'm looking forward to a little bit of a break. For now, we gotta get this done. Let me catch you up. We mounted the winch, so we're good to go there. We also use a load leveling sway control style hitch. We got the hardware that's specific to the trailer mounted. Everything else is on the truck and it's good to go. So it was nice to get this installed also. We'll need this winch to pull heavy things up. I have a pallet jack that we can palletize stuff and drag that in here. Now we have a bunch of E-track that came out of the trailer. We're gonna put at least some of that back in. But first thing is to put at least one shelf in here. What would be really great is to get 2 industrial shelves here. I kind of like the idea of leaving this wide open as well for larger items. Eventually, meaning after this trip, we'll put the whole shop in here. It's gonna really not be comfortable to have the shop emptied out and not necessarily accessible anymore. I'm always doing stuff in the shop, even if it's not, you know, engine building and keeping Dweezil alive and all that stuff. I always find reasons to run out there, and I'm sure you can relate. But we got to pull the plug at some point, and this is where all of that will land. That's kind of the whole idea behind having this trailer in the first place. Anyway, let's mock up some shelves and see what we can make happen. No great answers here, really. It's going to be fine, but there's a couple of problems. One is right here. We just put that D-ring in, and this is in the way. So what I can do is put some feet on the bottom of this that lifts it up, maybe 6 inches or so. We have 11 inches of room up here to do that, and we just have to choose a dimension that is in these denominations, right? 6 inches looks like it would work pretty well. It'd just be like 2 of those. If the bottom thing is like right here, that would work fine, and it would raise this bar off of that D-ring, and we'd still be able to use it. Another issue is the shelves are not sitting straight up and down on this plywood floor. So the floor's not totally even. I mean, it's a trailer, so of course it's not. What I'd really like is for the shelves to be all the way up against the wall. That's what I did down there, and I'd like it to be that way here too. What I wouldn't mind is if it actually tilted back a little bit, just as a way to keep things on the shelf, just pushed right up against the wall. This one is the worst out of the 3, so really what I need to do is just shim it up. That'll be fast and easy. That's something I think I have time for. I can fit one of these big shelves here, starting right here at the door pretty much, and ending before the D-ring. I wasn't going to take the time to do the risers, but I came up with an idea on how I want to do it. It's pretty simple, so let's just knock that out too. Yeah, we're getting a little rain. Cool. we've just completed our maiden voyage with the new cargo trailer. It did well. It's a lot. It's big and it's loaded down with a lot of stuff. So while my truck is very capable, this is as much as I want to do with it. And now we have the task of unloading. Now on the way, I went through Atlanta and stopped by a couple of auctions. I've got shelves behind this plywood here. The plywood is just there to keep things on the shelves. And I tried a cargo net for this one. Both methods appear to have worked fine. The stuff back here is the bigger items from the auction. The ramp gate thing worked out really well. We got it back just into position. I did want it to be somewhat level, so I pulled up on some blocks here, and this seems to have done the trick. All right, now that we're set up, we need to get to work. The trailer made one more trip during the move, and it was stuffed full of the old shop. While this method worked great, I am glad to be moving on to the next phase. Starting over isn't easy, but it makes a great story. Subscribe now to see how we get it done. See you in the next one.